What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dee and this is the Optimistic Network. Today's video is going to be short and simple. We're doing stuffed salmon. I don't think I've ever done stuffed salmon before, so today I'm going to do it with you guys. I'm going to show you. I know it's going to turn out bomb because I already have in my head what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stuff it with like a spring mix and some kale, so I'll show you guys all that. Like I said, it's going to be short and simple, but you know I gotta tell you that if you're not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and smash that subscribe button, turn your notification bells on, and get active in the comments. So let's get straight to stuffing salmon. So we're going to start by lightly seasoning the salmon, and by lightly I mean lightly, little bit of seasoning on it. Especially this Tony Catcher seasoning, put a little on it. You can use more garlic and onion powder if you want, if it's salt free. Mine is salt free and I love garlic and onion powder, so I used a lot. Then I pressed my garlic and I just put a little garlic over the top of it. That's it. I didn't even season the bottom. Chose to press the garlic instead of cutting it up, because this way I can press it into the salmon and it won't go anywhere. As soon as the heat hit it, it just starts melting in. And again, you saw me use some onion and garlic powder. This has no salt in it. After I got done with that, I just set that aside and I'm gonna work on the kale. The kales are already washed. I washed it in this drain little thing here that it's sitting in, and I did sit in the sink so the water could run off, because I don't want water in it because I don't want it too soft. I also season my kale with a little olive oil because kale can be dry, and then I use a little Tony, not too much. Again, this is the reason I told you not to heavily season your salmon, just a little Tony over it. And again, garlic and onion powder, that's all we're using in this. And then I kind of just toss it a little, maybe. I also added some red crushed pepper. If you don't like the spice, leave that out. I just love my spice, so I added it over the kale. Then I got to cooking the kale. I put the pot on, added a little butter and the rest of my garlic that was left over, and then I didn't even wait for it to get too hot. I just added the kale to it right away. Obviously I made the butter melt a little. And I know I said it before, but now is a great time to remind you again that if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, turn your notification bells on, and get active in the comments. After I added my kale, I just put the cover on and just left it to steam a little. Not too long. I kind of left it like 4 or 5 minutes. Let it just shrink a little. You'll know when you can open and stir, because you'll notice it decrease in size. Maybe I should have said decrease in volume. While it was steaming, I started working on the other part of the stuffing. So that just needs cream cheese, any cheese of your choice. I pretty much used the cheese that I had. I had pepper jack cheese and shaved Parmesan. And again, this is a reason you don't need to add too much salt, neither to the kale or to the salmon, because cheese already have its own salt in it. I use half of a block of the cream cheese, or maybe a little under a half, and of course I use just the amount of cheese that you want. Remember, if you're making more salmon, you're gonna need more cream cheese and more cheese. As a matter of fact, I take that back. If you're making even 5 pieces, this measurement can do. Even though I didn't measure, I just eyeballed it. I use some onion powder and some garlic powder. Again, there is no salt in my onion and garlic powder, so all it's gonna add is taste. If you love onion and garlic taste, especially garlic. After I got done with those, I checked on my kale that was cooking. Remember, I didn't even add my spring vegetable as yet. I added a little oil because it was kind of dry. Now here's my spring mix. I'm just gonna add 3 hands full, and you know it's gonna shrink. So this has a lot of different vegetable in it, like spinach, and I think it looks like lettuce in it, but it's really good. Now I didn't start this with the kale because the kale is a little harder. These shrink really fast, and you don't want to overcook these because you don't want to cook out your nutrients out your vegetables. So that's why I didn't put it in with the kale. I didn't even have to cover this back. I just stir and stir until it reduced in size. Again, I was letting you guys know that even if you're making 5 pieces of salmon, this is more than enough, because I forgot that I had leftover. You'll see that I stuffed some in a potato that I baked in the microwave. I had a lot left over, so the amount I made, this amount that this recipe made was, the amount of stuffing was good enough for at least 6 pieces of salmon. Pretty much stir for about 2 to 3 minutes until everything shrink and you could tell they were ready. I took half of it out, half of the vegetable out, and put it in a dish because I'm gonna eat that as my vegetable on the side. And then I added the remainder to the cream cheese and cheese mixture in the bowl. And now from there, all you gotta do is use your spoon and toss it, like just mix it in till it's all creamy. You want to press out all the cream cheese. You don't want to see any white left, any lumps of white. Just mix until everything blend in, just like you see me doing here. This should only take you a couple of minutes, and I want to let you know that it's easier if you leave the cream cheese at room temperature. So take it out the fridge probably like 30 minutes before and just sit it on the counter. I pretty much showed you guys the duration of my mixing. I just speeded up. That's what I did. And after this, all I did was take my salmon, use a pointy sharp knife to just put a slit in the middle and then stuff it. Also, it helps if your salmon is not fully thawed out. Mine wasn't fully thawed out, like around the edges were thawed, but the inside still had a little ice. Wasn't tough, but it still had a little ice, and that helped because it prevented the salmon from tearing apart. I noticed I didn't have no problem. You'll notice that the slit even slit out, but that's okay. Just stuff it down in there, because the most that's gonna happen, a little is gonna melt and run out. And trust me, that gave it a nice little crispy crunch on the skin. And I would recommend skin on salmon for this. I only eat my salmon skin on anyways, but if you like it skinless, leave the skin on and try this. You're gonna love it, because the cheese, when it runs out a little, it just creates a little crunchiness on the skin that is so fripping tasty. Gently get all your stuffing all the way down to the bottom, to the cut. Don't tear the bottom out or anything. Just stuff it. It shouldn't be hard because it's creamy, so just stuff it in there, and it's really easy. If you notice, I'm looking like I'm being rough with it, but I'm really not. Just take your time and stuff it in there. Actually, I think it's fun to do. And then after that, we're just ready for the stove top. I added a little olive oil, and I make it come like a halfway hot, not too hot, because I don't want it burn fast, because I want to take it time and cook. I used the same pot that I cooked the kale in. I didn't even wash it out. I just added the olive oil, let it come halfway hot, and then I just set my salmon in there. And you're gonna notice I also added some shrimp. I don't know what's with me and shrimp. I love shrimp, and this is a great time because my shrimp were frozen. I rinsed them off and I added them to it, and I think the water, the little juice from the shrimp, is great to help the salmon cook it at medium heat. So the little water, the juice from the shrimp, is great to help your salmon cook without burning. It just gradually cook. So this is me turning the shrimp. I use my finger, my hands. You don't have to use your hands if you don't want to. Use a little something, thong, fork, or anything, but I use my hand because me used to the kitchen. After that, I just covered it up and I left it for another 10 to 15 minutes, and then I opened it, and like I said, I had a lot of stuffing left over, so I just put some on the top. You don't have to do that, but if you do it make it taste even nicer. And then, like I said, I did a potato in the microwave. I baked it, and then I put some of my stuffing in there. That's how much stuffing I have. I had a lot of stuffing. I still have some left over, so the stuffing is more than enough. The ingredients that I gave you, that will make more than enough, more about 6 pieces or so. And then yes, you will see me put some okra on the side, and that is the leftover vegetable kale and spring mix that was there. And this was Sunday dinner. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was quick and easy, and it's just a different way to eat salmon. The main thing you have to remember is control the salt. Do not add, if you're using salt, don't add too much. But if you're using like a Cajun season like the Tony, don't add a lot, and you don't need to use salt. I actually don't cook with salt when I'm using Tony at all. So as long as you control the salt, no matter if you can't cook, you can make this. And this is me was just enjoying my food, and right here I was trying to get a thumbnail And here is the first taste. And the way I did the kale, you can always just do your kale and your spring mix, or just your kale, do it like that. Even if you're not doing stuffed salmon, it's really good like that. If you notice, I'm eating the leftover as a side dish, vegetable side. You guys have to try this. This is so flipping good. If you've never had stuffed salmon, stop with all that boring salmon and try this. So that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you'll try it. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notification bells on so you know whenever I post a video. I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.